everybody, and welcome to this video on financial maths. In this video, we're having a look at timelines. So a timeline is a tool that we'll use in financial maths to add amounts that have been invested or removed at different time points. The reason why we need timelines and we just can't add the amounts that are invested is because of the time value of money. 1,000 Rand 10 years ago is not worth the same as 1,000 Rand today in terms of the purchasing price because of inflation and interest. To account for that, we have to then add or strip interest when we're moving between time points. In this video, we'll have a look at just adding amounts. So adding different amounts at different time points. So what we're going to do is each amount that we added, we're going to take it to the end of the time point, accumulating the interest it would have gotten for staying in that bank account for that period of time. For example, the 1,000 Rand, that would be in for the full period and it would collect the full interest. The 500 Rand has been in for less than the previous 1,000 Rand and would only accumulate interest over the time that it has been in. Finally, the 1,200 would accumulate for the least amount of time since it has been in for the least amount of time. Please note that the total of these three amounts is not 1,000 plus 500 plus 1,200 because that does not take into consideration the interest that has been accumulating over those times. So let us have a look at an example. So here it says Susan invested 3,000 Rand. 2 years later, she deposited another 2,000 Rand. And how much will she have after 6 years with an interest rate of 12% per annum? So we're going to use the tool of a timeline. So we have our time 0, time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5, time 6. Excuse the unequalness of the time, but they all equal, they're 1 year. Okay, maybe I should just draw it equal just to have that being consistent at least. So let's try drawing a better timeline with equal intervals. So time 0, time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, time 5, and time 6. So now we're going to fill in the information. So she invested 3,000 Rand. So that was her initial investment. So here we're going to put 3,000 Rand. And then 2 years later, she invested 2,000 Rand. So then at T2, she invested 2,000 Rand. And we want to know how much will she have at the end of T6. So let us do this calculation. So how much she has at time 6. So at the end, her accumulated amount is the 3,000 Rand. And we're going, so one thing that we forgot to add is that over this time, we had the same interest rate, which is 12% per annum. Compounded annually. So this year is 1 plus 0,12. And how long was the 3,000 in there for? It was in there for 6 years. So it would accumulate interest for the 6 years plus 2,000 Rand. And how long was 2,000 Rand in for? It was in for 4 years. So it will accumulate the interest for 4 years. So we can simplify that if you'd like. So this is 3,000 times 1,12 to the power of 6 plus 2,000 times 1,12 to the power of 4. Typing that into the calculator, you can then get the accumulated amount. So it's 3,000, 1,12 to the power of 6 plus 2,000 times 1,12 to the power of 4. What we then have is 9,068,51 to 2 decimal places. So please take note of the fact that we're adding the interest as well. So here we have Steve invests 1,000 Rand at the start of each year for 3 years, how much will we have at the end of 10 years? So let us draw our timeline. So we have, I'm just going to draw T0, T1, T2, T3, dot, 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 until T10, right? So let us put in the information. He invests 1,000 Rand at the start of each year for 3 years. So he will invest 1,000 Rand at time 0, 1,000 Rand at time 1, and 1,000 Rand at time 2. And our question is then, how much will he have at the end of 10 years? And for the entire time, there's an interest rate of 6% per annum compounded monthly. So in other words, this is I-12. So keep that in mind so that we use the correct interest rate. So then let us calculate our at times 10. So we're taking everything to time 10. Your accumulated amount is 1,000 Rand. The first 1,000 Rand will be in full. So it's got an interest rate of 0.06 over 12. And it is in for 10 years, so 12 times 10. The first 1,000 Rand was in for 10 years, and then the second 1,000 Rand experiences the same interest rate, or earns the same interest rate, but this time it's in for 9 years. It's in for 1 less year, so 12 times 9. Plus the last 1,000 Rand, that also has the same interest rate, and it is in for 8 years. Okay, so there we have added the amount with the interest it would accumulate. So then you can type this into the calculator as is. So it's 1,000 Rand plus 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the power of 10 times 12. So we have the monthly rate, and then we have to multiply it by the number of years because it's compounded monthly, plus the 1,000 Rand times 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the power of this time 9 times 12, because that is in for 1 year less, plus 1,000 Rand times 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the power of 8 times 12. Once you type that all into your calculator, you get that the total is 5,147 and 24 cents to 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's have a look at the last example. So Tulani saves money he received for his birthday. On his 12th birthday, he received 1,000 Rand. On his 16th birthday, he received 3,200 Rand. And on his 18th birthday, he received 5,400. How much will he have when he turns 20 if he invested it at a rate of 10% quarterly? So let us put in our timeline. So we have T0, which in this case will be his 12th birthday, then 13th, 14th, 45, T6, T7, T8. Okay, so this year is his 12th birthday at T0. His 16th birthday will be 4 years later, so it will be on T4, so that will be 16, and his 18th birthday will be 2 years after that, so it will be on T6, and his 20th, he'll turn 20 2 years after this, so this is his 20th birthday. So when he turns 12, he receives 1,000 Rand. When he turns 16, he receives 3,200 Rand. When on his 18th birthday, he receives 5,400. And how much will he have by his 21st birthday? The interest rate for the entire period is 10% per annum quarterly. So this is an I4 nominal rate. So then let us put in our calculation. So at time 0, we have that his accumulated amount will be 1,000 Rand. The 1,000 Rand has been in for 8 years. So it will be 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the power of 4 times 8 plus the 3,200 Rand. That would be in for 4 years, so 0.1 over 4 to the power of 4 times 4, plus 5,400 would have been in for 2 years, so 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the power of 2 times 4. Again, we can simplify this if you'd like, or you could type it in into your calculator as is. It's up to you really. So this here is 1,000 Rand times 1,025 to the power of 32 plus 3,200, 1.025 to the power of 16 plus 5,400, 1,025 to the power of 8. Let us type that into our calculator to get the answer. So just adding the amount with the interest that it would have accumulated over that time period, and what we get from adding it is, sorry, last one, he will have 13,533.55 at the age of 20. Okay, I hope that you have understood this video on how to add amounts and how to use a timeline to map it out. It's very important, and I hope you watch the rest of the series on more techniques. Thank you for watching. Bye.